Oh shit, Falcon fans, Falcon fans, Falcon fans, and of course, Falcon fans. My mic tried to mess me up there in the beginning. I was like, what the hell? I'm pressing the button. It's not working.
It's a conspiracy.
Gosh. Hopefully we don't talk about that tonight. One time for the fan. You already know what it is. You already know what to do. Episode 213. We are moving in the right direction. Once again, Apple Podcast, Amazon Podcast, Spotify Podcast. Terry, Carrie, in the building here talking Atlanta Falcons football. How is everything going with you all? Terry, what's up, man?
Hey, man, everything going well. Got no complaints. Happy to see Miss Carrie in the house. Yes.
Thank you.
That's right. Carrie and I will forever be linked to our astounding and surprising pick of Michael Penix for the 2024 pick. And hey, Carrie, he may go on to greatness and be a Hall of Famer, and we can say we called it. So there you go. Carrie, how you doing tonight? Talk to us.
Yeah, I'm so happy and thankful to be here. It's been a few weeks, so I'm so happy to be back and talk Falcons football with you guys. So really happy to be here.
Carrie, good to have you back here on One Time for the Fan. Big shout out to Bodie too as well. Big shout out to Chase from DFU. Chase had a podcast earlier with Mike Johnson, right? Former offensive lineman for the Atlanta Falcons. So Falcon fans, definitely check that out whenever you get a chance. Big shout out to DFU for what they got going on over there. But yes, tonight here on One Time for the Fan, we are doing what we always do. We talk Atlanta Falcons football. So hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that subscribe button. If you're checking in from Facebook, head on over to YouTube real quick. We are almost at a thou wow.
Thou wow.
Right? A thou wow? Is that what it is? We almost had a thou wow.
Or as the young folks say, a rack.
Oh, shit.
A rack. A rack. I learned that the other day from Jack. A rack is 1,000, and a stack is 1,000.
We are already starting with the wows tonight.
That's
Terry
right.
saying a rack. Carrie wants to know what you're sipping on over there.
I know. What is he sipping on?
Sipping the bubbly.
Let's call it a little Jack Daniels down home punch. I don't know.
Oh, he's about to be flowing tonight.
Hey, man, you were sipping the Tito's, and I came armed and ready, sir. Armed and ready.
So. It's about to be going crazy tonight. Falcon fans, hit that like, hit that share, hit that subscribe button. Yeah, we got some things to talk about here on the channel as I start setting up. I don't have my mouse. My son took my mouse. So he's gaming upstairs. So he'll be controlling that mouse for tonight. I don't know where the backup mouse is. I've been asking for it for the past couple of minutes and still haven't got it yet. So we're going to be working with the good old thumbs tonight here on One Time for the Fan. Falcon fans, hit that like, share, subscribe button. Raheem speaks to the media to wrap up minicamp. Terry, Carrie, I know it was good to finally hear something coming out of the Atlanta Falcons organization. You know, OTAs was happening the past couple of days and so forth. Terry, what did you get from Raheem speaking to the media yesterday? And, of course, to the fan base, too, as well.
I got a lot. Number one, he seems to be connecting with his team, with his players. He seems to be getting to know them, diagnosing their personalities. So that was good to see. Seems like he has a plan for everyone. Seems like he has a plan for everything. And it looks like this is maybe the first or second stage, but I was impressed. Of course, he talked about getting Bijan the ball, and we'll get into that later. But he talked about youthful arrogance or youthful exuberance from two guys. One of them was Bijan, and the other was Bergeron. And I thought that was something. Not that he was saying that they were braggadocious, just that they have the confidence of young men. We can't see Carrie's face.
Not this again.
I got it. I'm setting it up. I'm setting everything up right now. Don't worry. I got everything right there. Falcon fans, hit that like, share, subscribe button. You know we're not doing that to Carrie no more.
Shit, what's he trying to do? Punish you,
We're not doing that to Carrie anymore. That was getting ready to happen.
Jeez.
I'm sorry.
It's all good. No, I feel like Raheem has the pulse of the team. And he has a plan, and it looks like he's going about executing it. So I felt really good. I just love to watch his banner with the reporters. I think he even called somebody out for getting a phone call and said, "I'm going to take your phone." And it was kind of like the teacher would say in school. So I just thought it was great. Those are my thoughts. Carrie, what say you?
Yeah, I like how you mentioned the Bergeron thing, because obviously everybody's going to talk about what he had to say about Bijan and getting him the ball, but I also felt like it was awesome how he was giving the O-line so much praise, specifically Bergeron. I wrote down that he said that he has the authentic, youthful arrogance.
Yep.
He's really a fan of that about him.
Yep.
And I also thought it was funny that he said that Dahlman is a psychopath, and
was funny.
He said he had two options in life: either to be good at football or,
he's worried.
Worried about it. I mean, I thought that was funny.
He said, he's got two options.
Interview.
He's either going to be a center or I'm really worried about him. And it was just the way he said it was funny.
Yeah.
Raheem was funny.
Go ahead.
But yeah, those two things stuck out. And then he also asked him, or someone asked him that about Grady being missing. Has David Onyemata stepped up as far as like veteran leadership for the D line and for the rookies? And he said, yeah, he's noticed that. He's been unbelievable. Great example, great leader.
Mm-hmm.
I know we'll talk about the whole Grady interview as well and what he had to say, but that gives me so much like confidence in the D line, having both Grady and David Onyemata as like veteran leaders for these rookies to learn, the three rookies that we drafted.
Yeah, this is great to have some comments from Raheem too, to wrap up the week here. And of course, he also mentioned laying the foundation for the team with this mini camp, and then when they go on break and they come back, it's time to take it to the next level. Hearing that from your new head coach, he's been preaching about outrunning the South, and the communication between the teams. Oh, good shot. I'm watching that USA Brazil game too, Carrie. I don't know if you just saw that right there, but it's going down right now in Orlando with Team USA versus Brazil. So I'm going to be looking away from time to time just to see what's going on here. But of course, with Raheem's comments, it does pump up the fan base, and he does speak a lot about what's going on at camp with some of the players and the high praise for some of the players. And I think fans are ready for these moments because the team does look good, like on paper and of course on the field. I mean, we have a stacked roster, right? So this is great going into training camp and of course a few weeks. So once again, July 27th and August the 2nd is the only two open to the public training camp dates. Of course, in the past we was able to go out there to Flowery Branch and enjoy a lot more practice dates, but just the two coming up. But he also spoke about Grady working hard with the trainers on and off the field too as well. The speed reading comment too as well about Kirk Cousins watching film of his offense since the first day he got into the building, going back and watching Drake London's catches, Kyle Pitts catches, and a lot of what the players did last year and in the past to see how he can make them better. And that's coming from Kirk Cousins, a veteran quarterback who I think Falcon fans should be excited about because we've seen the stats, we've seen him play, but now as the quarterback here in Atlanta, he's bringing that 4,000-yard, 30-plus touchdown with him, right? So Kyle Pitts should be able to eat. Drake London should be able to eat. Shout out to Berto, Smitty, and A1 too last night. They had a good podcast with Steve Weiss from the NFL Network, and they were talking about how they can use Drake London, how the Rams used what's his name, Puka Nacua, right? So
they were saying they put him in motion.
Yeah, the pre-snap motion too as well. So that's cool to see that Drake London can be a part of that because you're much about Kyle and Bijan. Don't forget about your number one over there, Drake London. But to hear that Kirk Cousins was going back and watching tape and film of what makes some of these guys great in the NFL is good because as a fan, I know Kyle should be able to eat week 1 against the Steelers. I know Bijan should be able to eat week 3 against the Chiefs. Like I'm excited about this team, right? But going around the speed reading, what he talked about Kirk Cousins, building that relationship and connection with his offense. Terry, Kurt's already watched film of Drake and Kyle and Bijan and some of these guys, so we should be expected to see, a brand new Falcons offense this year. Am I correct?
I would agree. I'm excited about Kirk for a couple of reasons. I've been watching some tape of him recently, and Falcon fans are not going to like what I'm about to say. And hey, Lisa, and unfortunately, I have to say it. In some ways, Kirk reminds me of Drew Brees. Now, Matt Ryan's a Hall of Famer, first ballot, take nothing away from him. But I think one thing that Drew Brees did well, and it aligns with him asking people where they want the ball and how they like it, is typically Drew would hit you where you could still run, right? Matt got it to you, but Drew would hit you in stride. And that can be the difference between a 5-yard pass and a 15-yard pass. If you put it where I got to dive, or if you put it low and I have to adjust, I'm probably going to have to stop. If you hit me in stride, I can keep going. And I think, I don't know, but just watching hit film on Kirk, it looks like he likes to hit folk in stride, which would kind of make sense as to, okay, where do you want the ball? So, those are my thoughts. I think Kirk's a bit of a perfectionist, and I'm here for it. Carrie, what say you?
Yeah, obviously, when you get a new quarterback coming in, you want them to watch film and you want them to be a leader and you want them to build that connection with all their weapons. So obviously that's great news that he did his homework and he's trying to, like how they all keep talking about, win a championship. I've heard Grady talk about it. I've heard Raheem talk about it. So it's great. It's all good news, to hear that.
Falcon fans, hit that like, hit that share, hit that subscribe button. Big shout out to everybody in the chat. DSGB Hall in the chat. Big Little Country Sports is in the chat. A1 Forever's in the chat. Huntsman.
What's up,
Jeremy V is in the chat too. So Jeremy said, y'all see the Arthur Smith interview today about wide receiver 2. So glad he's not here anymore. Thoughts on wide receiver 2 for the Steelers real quick? I think it's Justin Fields. I think the wide receiver 2 is Justin Fields.
Oh, wow.
I'm just going to put that out there right now. So go ahead and put that out there, Falcon fans. That one time for the fan said that the wide receiver 2 for the Steelers is probably going to be Justin Fields. Just looking at that. I want to go ahead and say that.
Does it matter who? I mean, I don't know. You know what I mean? Hey, I took that as, if you've seen enough Arthur Smith press conferences,
it's some BS going on.
He's got a little Belichick in him. Not, he's not staunch and he's not rude and he's not indifferent, but I think he kind of plays his hands close to the vest. And the issue with him is you can kind of see that he wants to share, but he can't share, and he kind of waffles back and forth with it in his mind, and that's why you get instead of just saying, look, man, it is what it is, he doesn't want to do that. So I get it. It wasn't as bad as people say it was, but you could see there was some.
I know some fans are sitting there watching it like, I'm glad he's not here no more.
But you know what?
Like, you heard that talk last year with the Joker situation and all that type of stuff. So my friend texted me, he was like, it's got to be CP. CP's got to be the wide receiver 2. Like, hey, man.
So? I don't think so.
Whatever's happening over there, that's happening still. They're still going to get beat week 1. They're getting beat week 1.
Yeah. Oh, without a doubt. But I mean, again, I think I think they don't know. And I think instead of saying, I don't know, he just kind of hemmed and hawed in his authentic Arthur way. And one thing about it, we can see nothing's changed, right? He's the same. He was the same this week as he was last year. So there
just
you go.
A different color. Just won a different set of team colors.
There you go. Gary, what say you?
When I watched that today, I was like, respectfully, I'm just so happy he's not our coach anymore. Like, for me, watching his press conferences and then watching Terry's press conferences, it's just like night and day. Raheem is like so transparent and he's charismatic and he can hold the audience, capture the audience in the room. Like, he's just, I don't know, he's so different. And then, like I said, night and day, I really enjoy listening to him speak. Yes. And yeah, Arthur Smith, no disrespect. It's not my cup of tea. And it's just like today's interview or whatever he did today, talking about wide receiver 2 is just kind of like a whole bunch of fluff. Like, I don't know, just
like you've heard it before, Carrie.
Yeah, like, I'm just so happy I don't have to hear all that anymore. Like,
it just feels good listening to the comments from Raheem, because he is definitely getting the fan base ready for this season and the players ready. One player who is ready for this season and is excited to work with Raheem Morris is Grady Jarrett. And if you ask me, I think Grady Jarrett is definitely the leader of this defense going forward. He's the vet, he's the guy in the room that you definitely want to win for, right? And win with, because this guy, Grady Jarrett's been fighting hard here in Atlanta for quite some time. And, we did have that 2016 moment where Grady Jarrett played his ass off, right? But it was unfortunate what happened in the Super Bowl. But can we get back to that moment? Yes, we can. But Grady said he's feeling good. You see him tweeting out the other day, best year yet, stay tuned. And look at this picture from Grady Jarrett right here, man. This guy looks ready to go, man.
Yeah, he does.
Looks ready to go. Matter of fact, let me pull it up here on the big screen so Falcon fans can see. And he also spoke to the media too this week.
I think they posted Drake London with that same backdrop today. I really like that.
It looks like they're getting the hype video and pictures ready.
Yeah.
I think we saw some footage of Ray McLeod. We saw some footage of Hodge. We saw some footage of Bijan too as well. There was in the Falcon room where there was had the highlights with lights and stuff going on, and the Falcon logos in the background. So there's got to be a hype video coming up. Could be the Sunday night football, or was it Sunday night? Yeah, Sunday night. Then we have the Thursday night, right? So it could be that too as well. That they could be gearing up for, or it could just be the week 1 opening. A fan hype video could be possibly coming out. But Grady Jarrett looks ready. Thoughts on Grady Jarrett, Mr. Terry?
Well, I listened to his interview, and he had a lot of interesting things to say. Number one, being out changed his perspective. As you hear from so many players, it's different when you have to sit back and watch. He talked about watching people firing off the ball. He talks about what it looked like when you don't fire off the ball and you get beat. He talks about what it looks like when you do. He talks about how you respond to negative plays. And he said that, you have to learn this defense and you have to learn it to the best. He said just being adequate isn't good enough. And he really talks like a leader. To me, Grady seems like a guy who walks it like he talks it. Seems like a stand-up guy. And that was pretty much everything he had to say in his interview. I was impressed. He talked about, basically developing an appreciation for members of his team, his mom, his wife, his, staff. And it was just a good all-around interview. It's something you want to hear from a star defensive tackle on your team. And, I felt pretty good about it. Carrie, what say you?
Yeah, I mean, I thought the interview was great. He killed it. Obviously, it's so exciting to hear him speaking again and for him to be coming back. And like he said, he's excited to be back on the field competing. I did remember he did say that his goal is to be back
by training camp.
He started training camp. He said that he might need minimal treatment on the sideline, but for the most part, he's trying to be a full go. So that's definitely reassuring. That's great to hear. But yeah, same things. I felt like, he had all the right answers like he always does. He's a great leader on the field, off the field. And he did talk about being excited to mentor, the 3 rookies on the D-line and helping them learn and grow. And he said that he's more of a teacher on the field, watch me versus speaking about it, lead by example. So that'll be awesome for them to be able to learn behind him. I also did like that he talked about being proud of himself for not falling into a depression, the whole mental health thing, talking about how every day counts and being thankful to even going into his 10th year. He's so thankful for being a player in the NFL and the opportunity. And I just feel like he's so humble and he's a great person on and off the field. And I'm such a fan of his, but, and then the one other thing that I really liked that he was talking about is he talked a lot about Raheem. They asked him, what's his, since they last spoke to him, there's been a coaching change. What's his opinion? And he had so many great things to say about Raheem. I wrote down that he connects with every player, every employee. He's a leader of men. He's excited that Raheem has the opportunity to lead the team. He always gets the best out of every person, every player, and he's super grateful to have him here. And they're ready to play championship football. So, I mean, all those things were just so great to hear.
Yep. Falcon fans, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Talking Falcons football here with Kerry from One Time for the Fan and T. Will from One Time for the Fan. Grady going on speaking, saying speaks high volumes with Raheem and the high places he think this team will go with Coach Raheem. So you got it from your veteran there. You got it from your leader, I think, on this defense. Of course, with Jesse Bates and AJ Terrell, Caden Ellis, and Troy Anderson, and a lot of these guys is going to be around Grady. He mentioned the energy is real with the players, seeing their emotions and reactions on and off the field because he was on the sideline at one point last season. I think the Titans game that he mentioned kind of made me see it, from a fan perspective that, a lot of fans rely on these players every single week. And even as strong as Grady Jarrett is, he said 1 week he was playing versus the Titans. And the next week he can barely even lift his leg.
Yeah,
which is something that I think fans need to go ahead and take into consideration of these players. Like, they put their bodies on the line every single day to be better. Grady Jarrett is trying to do the best he can, like Kerry said, to be ready by training camp, which is only a couple weeks away. Also, he mentioned that, of course, he's feeling good. He's feeling confident. He's excited to get back and be ready, of course, on the field. He missed being out on the field with his team after the injury, and he's motivated to be back at 100%, which most players coming back from injury is going to try to do, is be back at 100%. But Grady Jarrett, being a leader of this defense, they rely so much on him because, he is going to his 10th year now. And is this possibly a breakout year for Grady Jarrett coming back from injury, Terry? I think it's his contract year too as well, right? So something to watch for where with this defense and this 3-4 shift now, you could possibly get Grady maybe over, 7 sacks, 8 sacks on the season. Right, what the Rams defense did with Raheem Morris being over there and some of the coaching staff and so forth, they was able to generate some sacks around Aaron Donald pretty well. So Grady Jarrett being that piece in the middle, that big vocal piece in the middle, with David Amiyata beside him, Lorenzo Carter beside him. Who else? Berlin Trice,
Eddie
Goldman. Wait,
Eddie
hold on.
Goldman.
We're 25 minutes into the podcast. We got the first Eddie Goldman.
Eddie Kane Jr.
Okay.
He's still there, right? He's still there.
He's still there. I love it, Terry. I got to give it to you, Terry. 25 minutes into the podcast, and you mentioned Eddie Goldman.
Hey, let me tell you something. Eddie makes a difference.
Eddie could make a difference on that defensive line as well. Zach Harrison, Tyquan Graham. I mean, we've seen some of these pieces before here in Atlanta, but of course we have some new faces with some of the rookies too as well. So I'm glad to hear the comments from Grady. I'm glad to hear the comments from Raheem Morris because it's about to be a dry period here for probably most content creators. I don't know what you're going to get. Maybe the tampering news is going to happen here shortly, so we'll find out what's going on there. But Terry, we're close to the season, man.
Mm-hmm.
Every time we turn on this microphone, every time we go live, we get one step closer to the season. How are you feeling right now, Kerry and Terry, about, minicamp wrapping up, players get a chance to go home with their families and hang out. But when they come back, like Raheem said, it's time to take it to the next level. How you all feeling as a fan right now?
Miss Kerry, I'm going to let you go first as I've been going first. Go ahead.
You. Obviously so excited. I saw today that the Falcons hosted Family Day. I'm hoping they post pictures. I know it's kind of like a family thing, so maybe it's private, but it's really cool that they did that. And then, everybody gets to mingle with their families and have family time. I know, Terry and Raheem, they're all big about family, so that's great. But besides that, obviously so looking forward to it. Every day is one step closer, one day closer, Falcons football. So I'm so happy and so excited. I actually today was like, how many more days till preseason? Because I'm trying to make it to the Miami, preseason game. So how many more days?
I was even thinking about trying to make that game too as well. I mean, I'm ready to see this team, take it to the next level. And I'm looking at preseason like maybe I should get out and at least see one preseason game on the road. Of course, Miami's closer to you than it is for me.
Right.
But those game tickets are usually pretty cheap. With the weather they have in Miami right now, hopefully we don't have that during game time because it's pretty bad right now.
No, it's going to be like that. I'm not going to lie. Last year it was very hot. I even wore, because I'm a Floridian, so I know to wear like short sleeves and shorts. And I was still sweating. It was rough. I'm not going to lie. So don't be wearing pants.
Sheesh. T. Will, how you feeling about the Falcons right now, brother?
I think I'm excited as I have been in a couple of years. I think that this is going to be a really good team. I know we keep saying it. I know people probably get tired of hearing it, but I think this is going to really be a really good thing. You know, of course, you can't predict the future, and you know, God willing, everybody stays healthy. I'm going to knock on wood while I do that. But all things being considered, I think our defensive line is going to be great. I think our offensive line is good. I think our offense is going to be good. I think our linebackers are good. I think it's going to boil down to, and it may not boil down to the play of the second cornerback, because, you know, the more I read about Raheem, as long as you got a number one quarterback, he typically plays zone or off coverage with that second one. So we may be okay. We may be, that may be much ado about nothing. Plus Clark Phillips is technically sound. The only thing you can say about him is his height. The more I look at this, the more I turn it over. I think the Falcons are going to be really good, because I think for the first time in 3 or 4 years, we are going to maximize our weapons on offense. And people really have to understand we have a large assortment of weapons that can do various things. So obviously Tyler Algier is a bowling ball. You probably see him, if we got leads, in the second half a lot. You probably get a heavy dose of Bijan in the first half, and if we got, you know, 3 possession lead, you're probably going to get some Algier. You're going to get some Kyle. You're going to get, you know, Drake. You're going to get Rondell. You're going to get Mooney. We have a large assortment of weapons, and contingent upon how things go, I'm really excited about it. I'm excited to see what Zach can do with this offense. So that's how I'm feeling. I'm a little anxious. I can't wait. I wish we could just speed by the next 2 months and get to September, whatever, but obviously we can't do that. But yeah, Jack, that's how I'm feeling. How are you?
Even mid-July. I mean, once they get back out there with the, you know, helmets and the pads on and start hitting, you know, then we can start, you know, amping up this podcast even more. Joseph Avery's in the chat, wants to know, do we think the Falcons can at least get 12 wins this season?
I think they will. Yes, that's a definite. That is a definite. Number one, if we get through that first gauntlet, that first 4, and let's say we're 3-1 or 2-2, 12 wins is definitely a possibility at this point. I think Kerry so often has said that we're probably going to go on a 7-game win streak the last 7 games of the year. So, you know, if you've got 5 by then, 12 is definitely a possibility. Kerry, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, when the schedule came out, I put a tweet out there that my prediction is 12-5. So I'm gonna stick with that. I started out with 13-4, but then I was like, maybe I'll just get a little too excited. But I was looking at the schedule like we can win 13 or 14 games. And I'm like, let me not get ahead of myself. I'm getting excited here, but I tried to tone it down a little and put 12-5. But I feel like the floor is like 10 or 11. The ceiling is like 14. Yeah. But my prediction is 12-5 personally.
Yeah, agreed.
You know, big shout out to Joseph Avery for this question too as well. If you get past those first 4 weeks, at least going 2-2, you're going to be set for the rest of the season. I think
so.
Getting a lot of 2, 3-game, 4-game win streaks going, beating up some teams pretty bad, because I'm looking at Denver. Minnesota just made the announcement that Sam Darnold is going to be the starting quarterback to start the season. And I'm looking at Saints, I'm looking at the Bucks, the Panthers week, the Seahawks, the Giants, the Commanders. I see 12 wins from this team. Joseph Avery.
Question for you, Jack.
Yeah, man.
In the first 4 games, what are the gotta haves? Which games are the ones we gotta have?
So it's like fans would be shocked if you beat the Eagles in Philadelphia on Monday night.
Right.
The Steeler game, they already know that you can win. So fans are expected to go in there and win that Steeler game. The shocking part is if you beat the Eagles Monday night and if you beat the Chiefs Sunday night, that's it. Now you're ready to go. I'm sorry, I can say it. Fuck some shit up. I'm telling you right now. That's why I'm sitting there watching in Philadelphia like, okay, we beat the Eagles. I think we can beat the Eagles.
Here comes an Eric Parker reference.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead, Jack. Were you going to say 17-0? I think you were. Were you about to say 17-0, sir?
I'm trying not to do that.
That
type of prediction from last year, because when we did the score prediction, Carrie, I think you remember it. We said every game was a Falcon win. So we went over every single game with the score prediction last year. It was like, oh yeah, Falcons gonna win 28-10. Oh yeah, 35-7. It wasn't like that.
Shout out to Philip. We're gonna 35-10 those bastards.
You're gonna get a lot of big wins this year. That's the cool part. You're gonna get a lot of big wins this year. Right? Kirk has been known to take teams over 25 points, 30 points per game, that type of thing. So you can get that.
I think we will score 30, Jack. I do. Just looking at the assortment of weapons that we have, and we have an offensive coordinator, and I just think so much of life, so much of winning is timing, and I think the timing and the synergy for this is perfect. Because even if you look at the Falcons cornerback situation, we had at least 4 or 5 cornerback coaches on our squad. So you know what I think the Falcons said? They said, we got Jesse, we got AJ, we'll work the rest of it out. The guys we got to coach up, we'll coach up. If we got to zone it up 70% of the time, we'll do that. We'll work it out, because most of Raheem's defenses are defensive line centric anyway. And let me ask you a question, Jack. What would you say the best group on this team is? I'm waiting. I
want to say right now that D-line.
Defensive line.
That defensive line is stacked.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
That defensive line that depth is crazy right now. From not only starting with Grady to David to Taekwon to Zach to Eddie
Kang Jr.
But big shout out to Joseph Avery for the question. Falcon fans, do you think that the Falcons could win more than 12 games? And of course, fans here in the chat, they're going to drop their predictions too as well, which is great, because we love to hear from all the Falcon fans. But I think if you get through, the shocking part is if you get through the Eagles and the Chiefs game with wins, it sets you up for a lot of success in the season, because that's going to be 2 of the toughest teams you're going to play early in the season.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, even if you lose the Eagles game and go beat the Chiefs, that sets you up for success in the season, because the Chiefs is pretty much the toughest team in the NFL to beat.
Yeah.
Like Sunday night at home, if you beat the Steelers, lose to the Eagles, and then beat the Chiefs at home, and then have this, you're 2-1.
Yeah.
But you won that Sunday night game at home too as well, and you won the home opener. So bring on the Aints. You're going to beat them too. The comments from Clowney about Bryce Young that he was talking in Carolina, it doesn't sound like Bryce Young is even ready. I'm just going to put that out there. It doesn't sound like they have too much faith in Bryce Young. And Carrie, I know you're a Team USA fan, and this is a friendly, but I'm going with Brazil here. I don't have too much faith in Team USA.
Is it still 1-1 or?
It's 1-1. They got some great saves going on right now too, as well, on both sides of the ball.
Okay. Yeah.
But you have the
game, but
yeah, I mean, it's just a friendly right now. I mean, the World Cup will start, in a year or so, and of course, we have some games here in Atlanta to be played. Mercedes-Benz has 8 games? The quarterfinals.
Plus, you guys are hosting some games for Copa America too, right?
Yep, Copa's coming up too as well. So I get a chance to go watch Argentina. Is playing down here too as well. But Terry, if you get past the first 4 weeks with at least 2-2, we even going to that Saints game 2-1. You have the Bucks, you have the Panthers on the road. You have the Panthers on the road. Then you have the Seahawks at home. Right, then the Bucks on the road. The Cowboys game, of course, is going to be tough. But Carrie, we mentioned kind of after that Cowboys game, here comes that win streak.
I'm not. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I pulled up the tweet to look at what I had predicted, and I did predict, like you said, Terry, a 7-1-2-3. 7-game win streak.
Yep.
I do have us losing at the Saints, which I know we never want. I know people came for me about that, because they're like, you never predict a loss to the Saints, which I get it, but I was literally trying to do like a what do you call that? Like non-biased, fair, obviously I would have beat them. I would have.
You're doing your predictions, which is fair. You're doing your predictions.
So normally, I mean, I would love to sweep them, but a lot of times we split with them.
We split with them. Yeah,
that's true.
I do have us beating them at home, losing away, but then 7-game win streak to end the season, heading to the playoffs. So starting with the Cowgirls.
I think the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys can be beaten, and I think that because their defense could be great, but still, it's a new defensive coordinator with new guys to him, And I think the pressure on them this year is gonna be something because Dak is in a contract year. The coach knows if he doesn't get it done, he's out of there. Cowboys can end up 3-14. Like it could. That's a lot of pressure. That's just sitting there, and it could go really good. It could go really bad. But either way, in my opinion, the Cowboys are not the juggernaut that they were in the regular season, not in the playoffs. They're not the regular season juggernaut that they were last year. That's my opinion. I could be wrong, but I think that Cowboys game is very winnable. Kerry, I agree. We do tend to split with the Saints, and you just never, with the rivalry, you never know. Like that's Falcons Saints. That's hate week. We get up for them. They get up for us. You just never know. So I don't have an issue with it. Jack,
well, we will be down there in New Orleans for that game. One time for the fan. Rise up to our fan club. Hopefully, Kerry can make that Saint Falcon game down there in New Orleans too as well. But I'd love to walk out of there with a win. And of course, a lot of Falcon fans are going to have their predictions in the chat, of what the team record could be this season. But do you see the Falcons getting more than 12 wins? Go ahead and drop it in the chat. If you're here watching, if you're here listening, Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, and so many more. Chat is live and lit. Lisa Shepard, speaking about Grady Jarrett's comments to the media, she said, it was good hearing from Grady. He didn't have to do media since he wasn't practicing. Taryn Wack talked about how that speaks to who he is as a person, right? And Grady is a big, he's a, how do I say this?
He's a good dude. He's a
great guy, right? And of course, here for this team, you see the next comment here from that one Falcons fan. Grady Jarrett has become the vocal point of this franchise, right? He's been here for quite some time, drafted by the Atlanta Falcons. This is kind of like the moment for the Falcon fans where we got to get Grady a ring, right? Jake Matthews too as well. Got to get Jake Matthews a ring, right? Because they are coming, I want to say, close to the end of their career. I hope Grady can play here another 4 or 5 years and so forth. But a lot of these players do think about their future once they reach the 30s and so forth, right? So we want to make sure that we could. Oh, come on, that's a pen. What is Team USA? Team USA is over here, committing fouls. That's not being called in the box. But Grady is a big vocal point of this franchise, and I want to see the Atlanta Falcons definitely take Grady to the next level with hopefully getting back to the playoffs, winning the division, NFC Championship game. And Grady's played in the Super Bowl, right? He's been there before. He's been in that moment. Let's try to get Grady back there again so we can get him a ring, right? So let's go Falcons. I know y'all probably watching and listening. No, I'm just playing. But Falcon fans, hit that like, hit that share, hit that subscribe button. Lisa Shepard said, I'm in Miami again. It was fun last year. So Kerry, if you go to Miami, you'll probably run into Lisa Shepard. She's a diehard Atlanta Falcon fan. So everywhere the Falcons play, Lisa Shepard is definitely going to be there. Michael's in the chat with the one time. Just throwing the flame emojis around. It's going down in a major way. Ben Wade, Markham said, let's get to the playoffs. Let's rock. Big shout out to Ben Wade in the chat too as well. Rise Up Tour fan club is checking in. Dwayne Ruffin said, I can see 12 wins in the future. Big shout out to Dwayne Ruffin here in the chat. That one Falcons fan said, I'd honestly see us going 10-7. Still fair. In this division, 10 wins is playoffs, right, Kerry?
Yeah, and for me, like I said, that's the floor for me. I feel like that's the minimum we'll do. And that's me not being biased. I feel like we could definitely get 10 wins. I mean, we've had 7 the last 3 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly,
been a game away from the playoffs.
Right. And a lot of those games were very winnable, and it wasn't even like we just got outplayed by our opponent. It was like we shot ourselves in the foot type of deal with the coaching or the quarterback play or what have you. But we could have definitely won more than 7 games. So now with a quarterback who can get our weapons the ball, I think 10 is the minimum.
Agreed.
And Kerry, you missed the last podcast being here with us on the channel. I know you were in the chat watching too as well and talking with us. But do you think with Kirk Cousins' stats from last year, 2,300 yards, 18 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions before he went down, do you think with his stats on the team last year we would have been in the playoffs?
Oh, 100%.
100%.
He was like, honestly, for numbers wise, he was like one of the best
He was
quarterbacks in
balling.
the
That's an
league.
MVP.
He was killing it, honestly, before he got hurt.
MVP season.
I'm hoping he comes out just like, that injury never happened.
Falcon fan, this is great. This is great. You want, to be ready for the season as fans. There's a lot of season ticket holders in the chat. There's a lot of future season ticket holders in the chat getting ready to pay their money to the Atlanta Falcons to go see, a winning product on the field. And of course, the past couple seasons haven't been great for season ticket holders. But if you do enjoy going to the games, if you do enjoy waking up and going down to tailgate with your friends and your family, this season is going to be exciting, right? So, make your plans early if you're traveling on the road, if you're traveling to home games. I know there's a lot of fans from out of town here in the chat. Carrie, I know you're making some plans to come over here to see the Falcons play one of the games here or a couple games at home and on the road too as well. So fans, get excited for this season. I know when Kirk Cousins was signed here, I heard a lot of back and forth, but now as it's starting to settle in weeks after, right, days after, right, you're starting to realize that, come on, Brazil, get you one. Oh my God. I'm looking up now, trying to see those Brazilians get this dub. But
I'm torn. I'm obviously representing USA, but I love a lot of the Brazilian players. They're very good.
Hey, this is great to see this, and then of course the NBA Finals is coming on too as well shortly. But this is a time where Falcon fans should be excited because preseason is right around the corner. Training camp is right around the corner. I myself, Terry, we talked about on the podcast the other day. The Falcons swiped the money out of my account for the season tickets right before the podcast even started.
6 in the morning, right? At 6 in the morning?
Bro, like 6:57 in the morning, they swiped the account. Like, who is in the office right now?
Hey, man, they want that money.
I woke up and I saw the notification like, oh my God, somebody's in my account. Somebody took my money.
They want that money.
It's the Falcons. I don't know who got to the office that early, but it's the Falcons. I would think you would, start swiping the money in the machines and everything around like 8 or so.
They got your money before. Hey man, they got your money before they got coffee, buddy. They were like, let's do it.
They got there before security got there. I don't know what was going on. They are ready.
Early.
I'm ready too as well. So when I saw it, I was like, wasn't upset because I knew it was happening. But then again, I'm a season ticket holder, so I'm ready to see my Falcons win. Chat is live and lit. Benny Smith is in the chat. DSGB Hall, that one Falcon fan. And of course, we have some more special guests that's going to be joining us here in the upcoming podcast. But it's just been great chopping it up with Carrie and Terry, and Chase has been here recently on One Time for the Fan. Everybody got so much going on during the summer with vacations and, of course, their jobs and their personal lives. So it's great that you all are here in the chat talking Falcons football with us. Big shout out to all the other content creators out here talking Atlanta Falcons football in the community too as well. Because there we go. Don't let USA get that close now. Hold on now. So big shout out to the Falcon fans here in the chat. I'm not throwing jabs at Team USA right now, but it is a friendly. And Carrie, you were supposed to go to the game, right? You wanted.
But after that beating by Colombia, I was like, I'm gonna keep my money and save it for Falcons football. So
that was a 5-1 beatdown.
5-1 defeat, the biggest defeat in Greg Berhalter, our current manager's tenure as the USA coach. So
You see, Falcon fans, we're fans of not only the game too as well. We love soccer. We love golf too as well, and we love what else? Carrie? Oh, that's a pin. That's a pin. But watching Team USA in Brazil is big. What's up, Carrie?
No, I see some comments here. I just want to say Carlton Bunch, his prediction is 11-6. Falcons balling with Kirk and Drake lighting up the NFL. I completely agree. And like how you said earlier, how people are, obviously talking about Bijan and Pitts because they wanted to see him with the quarterback again. But I'm really excited for Drake, like to show he's him and he's a wide receiver one. We know he's him, but I feel like the league, they don't respect him as much as Falcons fans do because he's never really had great quarterback plays, years on the team. So he never played with a Matt Ryan. So I'm really excited for him to have consistent, good quarterback play. I'm very excited.
It's great to, not only get ready to see that, but before the season starts, it's great to hear that because I'm excited for Drake London to hopefully get over 1,000 yards. Right, I'm excited for Drake London to probably get between 5 to 10 touchdowns, probably even more. You never know, because with Kirk Cousins, everybody's going to eat, right? And Kyle Pitts too as well. I mean, we talked about it here on the channel. The Falcons kind of owe him an apology after that Matt Ryan year. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like Mariota and Ritter and the situation last year. It's like, and then he had the injury. So I want to see Kyle Pitts eat, but to hear the comments from all these players about how excited they are about Kirk, as a fan, you should be excited too. Because if you get 100% healthy season from Kirk, Falcon fans were going to the playoffs. I'm putting it out there right now. Even if something happens during the season with Michael Penix, I mean, if you get Kirk up to a point where, you are, 8-4 or 9-5 and something happens, Penix can lead the way to take you to the rest of the playoffs. But we don't ever want to talk about that. We're going to look at Kirk as 100% finishing the season with the Atlanta Falcons because that's how we do it here on One Time for the Fan. Smitty's in the chat. Big shout out to Smitty. Lisa Shepard's in the chat. Josh is in the chat with 12-5 IMO. Unless we have the division wrapped up week 18, then maybe 11-6. Okay. But still, with these records from the fans in the chat, damn near anything more than 8 wins is probably the division. With the way the NFC South looks.
Yeah, I think the Falcons will win at least 11 games. Mm-hmm. I don't think the league has an idea as to how deadly this offense is going to be. Mm-hmm. I don't. And I think, Harry said that, Drake is going to get the opportunity to show that Drake is him. I think we got 3 or 4 hymns.
True.
I don't think there's a restriction on him.
You are right about that, Terry.
Yeah. Kyle Pitts is him. Mm-hmm. Okay. Bijan Robinson is him.
Chris Lindstrom is him. Let's not forget about the offensive line.
Drake London is him. And Darnell Mooney, y'all keep, I don't hear anybody talking about him.
Don't do it, Terry.
Don't do it, Terry. That dude, man. I'm just saying. That dude may surprise everybody because if just go watch tape of him. Go watch his routes. Go watch how many times he is wide the you-know-what open. I'm just saying, man. It's a him competition with the Falcons offense. I'll put it that way. It's a him competition. And
who's going to be the number one him this year?
I don't know. Right, exactly.
Or as Quavo would say, Himothy.
God. Wow.
Okay, I'll do it.
Dang.
I think it's going to be Pitts. If I had to pick one, but
Kyle Pitts. Gary stuck that one in on the side. So, who is the Himothy of this team?
Himothy.
Kyle Pitts,
man, I don't
Grady
know.
Jarrett, Jesse Bates, AJ Terrell. Some would say Nate Landman.
Rondell Moore.
Are you going to throw Rondell Moore into this mix already?
I'm going to tell you why I'm doing it. Because they just used him on screens.
Yeah.
Right? But this guy is lightning quick. Can you imagine a formation with Bijan and Rondell in the same one?
So
Rondell in the slot.
Big shout out to Berto, A1, Smitty, talking to Steve White from NFL Network last night. Falcon fans, go back and watch the podcast from Berto and them. He mentioned even possibly a speed package, where you see Rondell and Bijan some way, somehow in the backfield, and they start motioning out and adjustment. Man, you know how much speed we got on the field? You know how much looseness we have on that field at that point with Kirk Cousins? You talked about Kirk Cousins trying to hit receivers in stride and hit receivers, so that yards at the catch can start eating after, they receive the ball. I'm talking about big things happen here in Atlanta when it comes to Kirk Cousins and what he can do with this offense.
I'm just saying the Himothy competition is dick. Oh my God. Deep. Sorry, deep. Freudian slip. Deep. You're gonna have to edit that out.
Oh my gosh.
The Himothy conversation is
listening to me saying the big Penix energy too much.
I know it.
Okay, Gary. Okay, Gary. I see how you want to do this. All right. 15-yard penalty on Terry. 15-yard penalty on Terry. 15-yard penalty on Carey.
A1 said pause. You're right.
30 yards. We're going to back it up.
30 yards? 30? Really?
30 yards.
I got to be disqualified for the game.
One time for the fan podcast. It's 30 yards.
I got to kick him out. I'm going in the showers, guys. Wow.
That's some fans in the chat. I know y'all having a great time here. Man. Let's hit that like, share, subscribe button because we are talking Falcons football. Carey, one time for the fan. T-Will, one time for the fan. And there's a lot of content creators in the chat too as well. A1 Forever's in the chat. Smitty Sports Machine is in the chat too as well. Lisa Shepard from Blogging Dirty is also here in the chat too as well. Berto, Big Low Country Sports is also in the chat. I know. We're having the
sorry,
time of our lives.
I was looking at what somebody said in the chat, and my brain just did something funny. But
don't be at the roulette table in Vegas when those comments come out.
Oh my God!
Right now.
Oh God!
Just want to make everybody smile. You did a good job.
Oh,
I definitely did that. Wow. Okay, I'm on one today. Sorry, guys.
Falcon fans in the chat. Lisa Shepard wants to know, Carrie, we get that hat from? Fans checking out the fan gear.
Thank
out the merch.
Yeah, I got it Fanatics. I buy a lot from Fanatics because they do the fan cash, so then you can like spend a ton of money and then they'll give you like fake money to put towards your next purchase.
Not the fake money.
You know, the rewards or whatever.
Not the fan cash.
Thank you so much.
Hey, Falcon fans in the chat, hit that like, share, and subscribe button for Carrie's hat. Dan Burst is in the chat. He says checking in from work. Dan, you DJing right now and you checking in with One Time for the Fan? If you're at the club right now, could you possibly put One Time for the Fan on the club TV so like 2 minutes before you start your DJ set? Is it possible? DJ Dan Burst in the chat. Big shout out to Dan Burst here talking Falcons football.
What's that song by Future and Metro Boomin? I know you
have two albums. Don't get Carrie started because we'll go down the track list for you.
It's the new album. It's my favorite one. It's
like that.
Like that's the most popular.
Yeah, like
we got type. You got type shit too.
Like
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can't forget about type shit. Yeah,
no, I like that.
Can't forget about slimed in too. You know,
that's my favorite one.
Magic Don Juan going in. You know, you got some bangers on there now. I mean, the first tape was some bangers. So big shout out to Future.
No, like that is my favorite one. That's my favorite. Yeah. Oh my God. Because it's got the Rodney O beat in the background of it. It's the sample from Rodney O.
Yeah, that's the like the old Memphis mix that they used to put on back in the day too as well.
Yeah. But I like that. I like the way they did that.
Falcon fans in the chat, hit that like, share, subscribe button. DA Hunter is here in the chat too as well. Big shout out to DA Hunter. You know, we've traveled on the road for quite some time. When the Rise Up Tour fan club first started back in like 2017, we threw a party back in Cleveland. That's where I met DA Hunter too as well. And of course, still to this day, I saw DA Hunter in Tennessee last year. You know, we've been to a lot of these cities, and I know DA is going to be back on the road here shortly, getting ready to go watch the Falcons play. So fans, if you are heading on the road, don't forget about the Rise Up Tour fan club. We have a lot of events going on this season. I'll post some shortly here to let you all know what we got going on, but it's going down in a major way. We have one more topic to get to before we wrap it up, but the chat is live and lit. That's what One Time for the Fan is about. Bring your questions, bring your comments here so we can talk about the Atlanta Falcons. Lisa Shepard's in the chat. I want to wear my Victory Monday t-shirt at least 10 times this season.
I love it. Yes.
Falcon fans, you have your Victory Monday t-shirt ready? That's going to be a
I
segment.
don't even have a Victory Monday t-shirt. I guess I got to get one.
I was going to say that's sad. I don't own one, but I also need to get the Big Penix Energy one. So I need to maybe.
Oh, God. Oh, wow. That's a little too soon, Carrie. That's a little too soon.
I got to stand on business, and I told everybody, the whole internet universe, that.
In my referee mode.
What was that game that he played and he balled out in college? I can't even.
They hit the radio on the side to turn on the mic. Penalty on the field.
I can't remember what game it was.
Carrie, 10-yard penalty.
I got 30, but she got 10. Okay.
Oh, we're racking up the penalty yards tonight. We're going to have a meeting about this in the huddle. We got to have a meeting about this after the podcast. We racked up a lot of penalty yards tonight, guys. You know, and that could really hurt us in the long run because if we know.
I mean, if you want one, I can get you one too. Order multiple.
So Terry, let's rack up the penalty yards tonight. Terry, you have one penalty for how many yards?
30 yards, and she has 10, so that's 40 yards.
We're racking up the penalty yards.
Hey, man. hey, you know, hey, I don't even know what to say, but yeah. But no, you know what? I'm gonna get I saw that from Chris. He's right. I'm gonna honor Philip, and I'm gonna get one that says 35-10.
Hey, you gotta get those Victory Monday shirts, man. Falcon
No,
fans, get those victory money share. What's up, Kerry?
I was gonna shout out Chris that you just had on the screen from A1. I wanted to say I saw that he put a comment that he's just gonna stand on what he said, playoffs by week 13, and I love that.
There you
I
go.
love that energy. I love the whole chat, like so much positivity, and everybody's good vibes tonight. Like talking
That's
about
what you get.
12 games, 13 games. I'm loving it.
That's what you get, not only from a lot of these fans that watch and listen to the chat, but of course on Twitter. Kerry, I've seen your page when you talk about the Atlanta Falcons. You have a lot of Falcon fans that follow you that they're excited about the team. You don't have too many negative fans that follow you. Like everybody is just really, excited. Plus a lot of Man City fan too as well. You got to go Vamos Man City. Big shout out to them. But the Falcon fans that excited about what could happen this year, you should feel that way. Because with Kirk Cousins, with Drake London, with Bijan Robinson, these players that we continue to mention every single Sunday night, Wednesday night, Friday morning, whenever we go live, we continue to mention these players because these are the guys who's going to eat this season to get us to the next level. Then that defense takes the field, right? And we haven't talked about special teams much as well, but with the new kick return, punt return situation, you should see these players eating. Right? Whoever's back there, Raymond McLeod or Avery Williams or even Rondo Moore, could be D. Alford. Who knows? Right? But I'm excited about this season. Right? I'm so ready for it. I'm going to say it every single episode.
Yeah, they said Ray looked good in practice, man. They said again, another guy from Hemopolis.
Not Hemopolis.
You see, let me get a wow. Let me get a wow to redeem myself.
I'm moving quick here. Because I'm also doing
I need a wow.
Some esports stuff too as well here. Falcon fans, hit that like, hit that share, hit that subscribe button. Got something else to talk about on the podcast. Raheem Morris did mention something else that no fans probably listened to and said, wait, what did he say about Bijan Robinson? We got some more Himothy talk. And this one is about Bijan Robinson.
Himothy. There, I said it.
Raheem Morris on team's plans for star running back. Look, star running back. Get the ball to Bijan Robinson as much as possible. Kerry, you saw what Bijan Robinson did last year. Raheem now steps in. Zach Robinson now steps in. They talked about, how the offensive scheme could possibly look. They talked about, the adjustments that could be made, before, pre-snaps and everything with the motions and everything. But now you get a chance to hear more from Raheem about Bijan Robinson's role with this offense. Get the ball to him as much as possible. Your thoughts on that, Ms. Carey?
Obviously that's amazing. I mean, we drafted this guy 8th overall running back. Like that's unheard of, So, and we know he's a huge star. We saw a glimpse of that last year. Not even a glimpse. We saw a lot of that last year, but I feel like with him being put in better situations with Raheem as his coach, I feel a lot more confident that we're going to get the best out of him. So I'm really excited. And yeah, when I saw that quote, obviously that's really exciting as a Falcons fan to hear. But I also saw a lot of like fantasy football people really excited because
Sheesh.
Obviously like fantasy football people like did not want to draft any Falcons players last year, and it's because of the coaching situation and like how
was it just the coaching situation or some other things happening too as well? No, I'm just playing. They didn't want to draft too many Falcon players.
Remember this quote, his impact away from the ball can open things up. Do you remember that?
Yep.
And so not to bring up the past, but when I saw that quote, I immediately thought of that. And I'm like, wow, what night and day. Kind of just, go full circle of what I said earlier about Raheem's press conference. It's like night and day for me, like how he speaks and then, his plan for the players and how he's a leader of men. Like, it's just, I don't know. I'm very excited for Raheem. I was a fan of his own, back when he was our interim head coach, and I was sad that we didn't keep him. So I'm very excited. He gets another chance.
You're hearing it from Kerry about, the comments here with Raheem Morris speaking on Bijan Robinson's role. Fantasy football owners getting excited. A lot of them who possibly could be Falcon fans. A lot of them are just Final Fantasy owners. I know a friend of mine who's not a Falcon fan, but he has Bijan Robinson last year on his team. He tried to get Drake London. try to get Kyle Pitts because he thought, hey, man, at least those 3 guys will eat. Then he was upset midway through the year. But this year, with Kirk Cousins on your team, I think there's going to be a lot of a lot of fantasy owners. I'm talking about Final Fantasy, like it's like
a video game. That's a video game.
That's a video game reference. You know, I'm a gamer.
All right, 10-yard penalty for you.
Oh, I get the 10-yard penalty. Okay. No, I'll do it. You know, we'll rack the yards up here. We will rack the yards up here. So 10-yard penalty on Jack.
10-yard penalty on Jack.
Mentioning Final Fantasy, video game references, talking about fantasy football.
It's gonna be on the 10-yard line.
Damn, even I had to get addressed in the meeting too as well. This is gonna be crazy. Falcon fans, hit that like, share, subscribe button. But fantasy owners will probably pick up Kurt this year. They'll probably pick up the weapons around Kirk, Bijan, Kyle, Drake. But it's crazy when you go into the season because now you have a 4,000-yard pass on your team. For fantasy owners, who are you gonna start? Right? Because if Kurt is throwing up 300 yards a game, who you gonna put out there? Carrie, you play fantasy?
I'm starting both Drake and Pitts. I got them both ready.
So you're gonna get Drake, you're gonna get Pitts, you're gonna have Kirk out there too as well. So you're gonna be eating every game.
Yeah, basically. I wanted Bijan, but he wasn't there. I said Bijan.
T-Will, you play fantasy football?
I have, yes, I have. I'm not an aficionado, but I have played. But
what are you gonna do about these a bunch of Himothy's on the team that you had to get? You know, you're gonna try to draft. Who would you draft first?
I think what Carrie said. You know, you got to go with the triplets. You know, Bijan, Kyle, and Drake.
You got fantasy owners probably listening right now in the chat. Like, I'm taking your advice.
You got to do it, and maybe even Mooney. Guys, don't sleep on Mooney. Do not sleep on Mooney. I'm telling you, because he really, except for Justin Fields, and I don't know what happened at the other team that he was at, but Kirk requested him. I'm gonna say that again. Requested him, right? Mooney is a burner, so you can't double everybody, right? You can't take away everybody. It's gonna be interesting. Again, I think, to quote my friend Philip from DFU, we are gonna whoop some ass and win a lot of 35-10 games. Shout out to Philip, wherever you are, buddy. Seriously, we're gonna put up 30 points a game.
I'm so excited for that.
We're gonna put up 30 points a game, and as long as we give up 28, we'll be fine. So, yeah, I think we're gonna be not a wow. That doesn't deserve. Okay, all right. Sorry,
that's definitely a wow. If Jack's not gonna do it, I'll give it a wow.
Can I get the N1? I can't get the N1. No. Okay. All right. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Got you one, Terry.
They had to consult, to see. They had to check to see if it was a foul.
It doesn't remove the penalty yards, but she got you one. Falcon fans, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Bijan Robinson's role could be getting more, aggressive here in Atlanta. Get the ball to Bijan as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
T-Will, what you think about what Raheem said?
I think it's great. And again, to go back to 95 North's podcast with Steve Weiss, he said that with a lot of, Zach Robinson is a disciple of, who's he disciple of, Jack? Because my memory's failing me now.
Kyle Shanahan, the Sean McVay.
Sean McVay,
McVay, yeah.
And he said that a lot of their offense,
which is that whole system Raheem kept talking about with, LaFleur and everybody. Everybody came from that whole system, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Correct. He said a lot of their offense is predicated off of alignment, right? So, you can basically see what the defense is going to do by how they're aligned. And what I think he says, or what I think they're alluding to when they say they're going to use Bijan, you'll probably see Bijan in a lot of motions. You'll see him. You'll see them stack up in the eye. They'll run from passing formations. They'll pass from running formations. But I think if you run it to Bijan 20 times, maybe you pass it to him 30 times, and he touches the ball 30 times a game. I think that's really what they mean when they say that. And I'm here for it, every bit of it. Carrie, what say you?
Yeah, I'm excited. He also added at the end of that quote that you get him in as many ideal situations as you possibly can when you give him the ball as much as you can. So like I've said, I feel very confident in Raheem. Like, I'm a big fan of his, and I'm really excited for Robinson as well. Zach Robinson is coaching and like see what he does. Obviously, like his offense was awesome over there in with the Rams, so I'm really excited for Bijan. I'm excited for all of their weapons, honestly. Like, how can you not be?
You have a veteran quarterback coming off of injury, right? And I think fans would know that you're going to have to try to lean on some type of run game to help out your veteran quarterback. But to have a guy like Bijan Robinson in your backfield, and we saw Bijan coming out of Texas. We saw what he did last year too as well. I mean, we did have some flashy, exciting moments here with Bijan, even with, some of the negatives that we had with the offense and the play calling. Bijan lights up the crowd. Like when he steps on the field, fans know what you're getting, right? Offenses know what you're getting too as well. I mean, I'm sorry, defenses know on the other side of the ball, you have to lock down on Bijan, right? This kid is elusive. You get him in one-on-one open space, it could be nasty for whoever's going up against him, right? We saw with some of the moves that he put on with the Packers, some of the moves that he put on against the Jaguars, some of the moves he put on against the Cardinals, even the Panther game too as well. Like you get him in open space, it's a wrap. But to know that Bijan could be, a boatload of you running the ball this year, and then to have Tyler Algier behind him too as well, that two-headed monster, it's good to hear that Raheem is already kind of putting out there that Bijan is going to be having a major role with this offense this year. So maybe 10 or more rushing touchdowns for Bijan this year?
Could be. I'm not going to say it's not. I mean, anything's possible. Anything is possible.
You have a guy who's going to be toting the ball, like you said, probably 20, 30 carries.
Yeah, but I mean, you got the bowling ball, right? You got the bowling ball, and you got Jace, and if I had to guess, I could see 10 from Tyler, maybe 7 or 8 from Bijan, but you get down there on the 1, 2, 3 yard line, I'm going to the big fella. You know what I mean? We're gonna pound and ground and get it in there. So,
I'm not looking for every game for Bijan to have those 25, 30 carries, right? But if you're going to use him in a heavy role this season, right? Don't wear him out. You know what I'm saying? Because some of these players, every play, like they give it their all. And then you hear about it the week after, like they're dealing with an ankle injury or they're dealing with some type of hamstring injury. So Bijan's like, but only 21, 22, around that age. So, don't wear out the young lad, man, because he could be a future running back for Atlanta for years to come.
Yes, he can.
And of course, Tyler Algier too as well, what he can do to help out with Bijan. Once Bijan hits the sideline every now and then. And then you have Jace too as well. We get a chance to see the rookie play some this year. And maybe some of Avery Williams too as well, right? So for Falcon fans, you never know. I mean, when Avery was here, he did get a few snaps. It wasn't that much, but still, they did run a system where, they did try to spread the ball around as much as possible. But another player here in Atlanta that fans were talking about, T-Will, Harrison Hand. Falcons signed cornerback Harrison Hand this week, who played in 2022 with the Chicago Bears, had 4 games with 1 start in 3 seasons. Hand played 27 games with 2 starts. He's recorded 24 tackles, 4 pass breakups, and an interception, which came against the Aints.
Shout out
in 2020. So Harrison Hand already heading over here to Atlanta with the F the Saints moment in his resume.
Can't get enough of him. Love it. Yeah. You know what's funny? I saw an article on Harrison Hand today, and sometimes you just got to give it to people. The title of the article was "Another Player That Took 2023 Off That the Falcons Signed." Sheesh. 3 of them here, right? I'm like, dude, that's a savage right there. Like, wow, that's from way downtown, man. And then it got into, and they went into Eddie, and then Kevin King, and then Harrison Hand or whatever. But I don't know if we can get them cheaper. I don't know if maybe because they took a year off, they have more to prove, and so they're more economically viable. I don't know, but apparently Raheem has a thing for players that took 2023 off. I couldn't even fight it. You know what I mean? I just, hey, yeah.
Falcons released cornerback Anthony Sal, signed
Yeah.
Harrison Hand, who has some NFL playing experience for Falcon fans. He was also over there in Minnesota too, as well.
Should be fresh.
I mean,
really be fresh.
We do have a play here that we can show. So, just want to go ahead and put this out here. Harrison Hand picks off Drew Brees. So this is great because
is this in the playoff game or is this a regular season game?
Don't like the Aints. No, this is just regular season.
Oh, darn. Oh man, I thought we were gonna get the Eric Parker meme. Okay, sorry.
Sheesh. What you're gonna get here, and big shout out to NFL Sunday Ticket too as well. What you're gonna get here is Harrison Hand pretty much reading the defense on Drew Brees, and Drew Brees throws a duck. That's a duck. And Harrison Hand, he's just gonna read it. Give me the ball.
Give me that. Give me that.
Harrison Hand has a give me that moment already. Give me that.
Give me that.
Harrison
Hand throwing that. Did
Bring
he
back
throw
again?
in the zone? I think that's zone, right? That looks like zone.
It looks like who is that? Who's the tight end? Who is that? 87?
Yeah.
I don't know these Aints players very well, but I'm guessing 87 didn't make it that far with the Aints.
That looks like zone. That looks like he threw in the zone coverage. And dude was triple covered if you look at it.
Yep.
Yeah, he threw in the zone.
Good read too as well for Harrison Hand, but he's also a special teams player too as well. Falcon fans, a couple of them that I spoke to said Harrison Hand could possibly make the 53. Kevin King, like you talked about, took some time off. Harrison Hand took some time off. They released Anthony Sal from the secondary to bring in Harrison Hand. But Harrison Hand has a couple plays in the NFL that he's been out there before, right? So, T-Will,
yeah,
thoughts on Harrison Hand? I mean, we've shown a little clip here. Of, I know it's not his, it's not the major highlight for this kid, right? So it's possible that he could make the 53. We're not just going to throw him out the door just yet. But for him having NFL experience, even for Kevin King having NFL experience and taking some time off.
He definitely took some time off.
Somebody's going to make this 53 between one of them, I think.
He should be rested. He should be well rested. I mean, hey, you know what? The Falcons have, as I stated earlier, at least 5 defensive coaches on staff, defensive back coaches on staff. Maybe they saw something that we didn't see. Maybe they're going to be able to coach him up. You don't know. But at this point, we kind of have to trust in them. And if they see something in him, let's go. You know what I mean? I'm all for it. If
they see something in him, let's go. Which
let's go.
At one point you saw it with D. Alford, right? Here in Atlanta. It could be possibly Eddie Goldman this time around. And it could possibly be Harrison Hand. So some fans did point out, he was a special teams player, right? He could be another depth guy for your cornerback room. I mean, if you're typing in Harrison Hand footage, I mean, pretty much the number one video you're going to get is when he picked off Drew Brees, right? So for Falcon fans in the chat, could Harrison Hand make the 53? We will see. Carrie, as we get ready to wrap up one time for the fan here, another player in the DB room here with the Atlanta Falcons. Harrison Hand does have some NFL small glimpses here and there. Your thoughts about Harrison Hand with the Falcons?
To be honest, when I didn't do much research on him, when I saw it, I was like, okay, cool. Like more depth for the DB room. I thought it'd be just a depth signing, but hey, like maybe, like Terry said, he's well rested, so maybe he'll be ready to go. And honestly, maybe something to prove. Maybe sometimes the people who have something to prove are the hardest working people. So maybe he's going to set out to prove himself and will make that 53-man roster like you mentioned. So I'm excited.
You never know.
Harrison Hand. So we will see what Harrison can do this season. This offseason with the Atlanta Falcons before we get ready for the preseason games in August. And I can't wait. I can't wait to cover those. The Jacksonville Jaguar Falcon game is on NFL Network. Is that another like a primetime game?
I saw that.
That's preseason? That's preseason.
Yeah.
Preseason. We have like the NFL Network primetime game. So add another primetime game to the list here for the Atlanta
Falcons. Does that really
Falcons.
count though? Does preseason really count?
It's preseason. Fans will be they will be there. They want to see the Falcons play. Fans get excited about NFL football returning too as well. And there's some teams that could, shake up the NFL this year, outside of the Atlanta Falcons. There was a report that came out about the percentages of NFL teams that could make the playoffs, and the Falcons are right there in the top 10 again. So these reports are coming out that the Falcons could make the playoffs. They're looking at this team, they're looking at Kirk, they're looking at Raheem. People are buying into it. They truly are, right? And we talked about Kirk Cousins probably top 10 ranking in the NFL. Kirk Cousins, what, top 5 or 6 ranking in the NFC as a quarterback. This is the truth, Falcon fans. You have a team that could go in there and win the division.
I don't know that those numbers are top 10. I think those numbers are top 5
for Kirk.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I think so too.
If you're looking at 45, the year Matt won it, he threw for what, 4,900 yards?
You're doing career wise, and sometimes those stat breakdowns will be like 2 years since 2019, like minimum attempts of 500. You know how they try to do those stat breakdowns. But if you go with like career wise, NFL quarterbacks, Aaron Rodgers will be up there. Pat Mahomes, of course, will be up there. But where are you gonna put Kurt on that list? If you go to top 5 or 6 NFC quarterbacks, Kurt is damn near top 3.
Well, I mean, if you're going by yards, you got to take out Lamar. If you're going by passing, you got to take out Lamar, right? Joe Burrow wasn't healthy one of those seasons.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going, Kirk has got to be top 5, top 6.
Yeah, but even going career wise, he has more years than Lamar. He got more years than Pat. He has more years than Justin Herbert. He got more years on him than Trevor Lawrence. Yeah, so if you're going career wise, Kurt is definitely going to be in your top 10 of quarterbacks still playing right now. Talking about top 10 quarterbacks playing right now.
Absolutely correct. Didn't Trevor have a bad season, or did he take a step back last year? I thought
when CJ Stroud entered the league, took a step back.
Yeah,
that's a diss to the Jags fan. That's in the
it was. I've noticed
he's probably gonna be very upset hearing that when he listens.
You like to take shots. You're clearly not a Jaguars fan.
I'm not a Jaguars fan.
You like to take shots at them whenever you can.
I do at times. They're like the Saints to us in the AFC. I do.
I'm here for it, sir.
Falcon fans, hit that like, share.
What'd you say, Jack? They're dead to me. They're
dead to me. They're like the Saints to us in the AFC. Falcon fans, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. This is great. Talking Falcons football with everybody here in the chat. We do have some upcoming events and shout outs that we'll talk about in a minute. Don't want to hold everybody too long here on the channel, but shout outs for tonight, Miss Carrie. We go to you first.
I'm going to shout out, first of all, everyone in the chat. I feel like, like I said earlier, everybody was such positive vibes, and it's so awesome to be back today talking with you too, Terry and Jack. So I'm so happy to be back here on the podcast, and I want to shout everybody out in the chat being engaging in the conversation with us tonight. And I also want to shout out Grady Jarrett because it was very refreshing listening to him speak today when I listened to his press conference, and I'm a big fan of his, so shout him out too.
Big shout out to all the fans in the chat. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Apple Podcast, Spotify Podcast, Amazon Podcast. T-Will.
Yes, sir.
I know you got a lot going on over there too as well with your podcast, man. Go ahead and give a shout out to everybody you need to give a shout out to. And of course, tell everybody about your podcast, man. What you got going on? Where can we find T-Will? When we're not talking one time for the fan. I know you go live every morning too as well. So fans might wake up with, some extra breakfast.
Yeah, let's
Falcon fan or Braves talk. What you got, T-Will?
Let's do it. Well, number one, shout out to the guy who came and fixed my air today. Thank God for you, sir. God bless you. I really appreciate it. And my wife appreciates it. Everybody in my house appreciates it. So thank you. You are my MVP of the day. Shout out to Carrie. Hey, you know what? Carrie, we love it. We love it. We're better with 3, Carrie. We're better with 3. Just saying. So shout out to you. Thank you. Always enjoy you. Always enjoy your presence. You guys don't know, but Carrie is our unofficial stat person. So she'll be in the background like while the show's going on. So it's just it's good to see you, Carrie. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Again, I agree. Shout out to the fans. You guys are engaging, always positive. And yeah, I definitely appreciate you guys. I wouldn't be getting through this thing I'm going through with my mom. So appreciate you guys. And yeah, man. Hey, wife, family, kids, job, everybody. Thank you for that. Thank you to God. Without him, I wouldn't be here. Brother Jack, as always, thank you to you for giving me this opportunity. As long as you keep inviting me, I'll keep coming back. And hey, man, extra shout out to Raheem, and shout out to Grady, and shout out to 95 North. Great interview with Steve Weish, And last but not least, I can be reached at Terry Wilson for my ATL Sports 1 at YouTube. The ATL in that is capitalized. And yeah, I'm typically here mornings between 8 and 9. And, we typically dial in and talk about Falcons for about 30 minutes. And then we get on with our day. So looking forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Friday, there may be 2 shows. I'm very pleased to announce I have my first guest on Friday afternoon. It's going to be Mr. Jabri Hart. You guys already know him. So looking forward to, kicking it with him. And Jack, I'm going to defer to you, sir. And thank you, as always. Go ahead.
Producer Shepard is right. We got to get through these boring weeks until training camp starts.
And then it's up. Then it's
right.
Up, which I believe is on. Up has taken place of on, as the young folks say. I hear my son say it's up all the time. So I think, I'm 54. So in my mind, that means it's on is no longer cool. It's now up. I thought that deserved a wow. Now, you know what, Jack? I've been keeping count, and that's about 4 wows.
You had to rack tonight. You said that's a rack, so that was what's up.
I did. So does that take away from the 40-yard penalty, or am I still going to the
does not. It does not, because technically, the way they do it in the NFL, you did something good, you did something bad, so you still have to go to the team meetings and talk about why this happened. And then, what DSGB Hall said, you got to get ready and prepare for the next podcast. Right?
Hey,
so,
and 30 yards, I'm going to get fined. I'm going to get a fine, guys. I'm going to get fined by
man. We are good here at One Time for the Fit. What's up, Carrie?
Terry's shout out little speech right there that he just delivered to us, was like a touchdown. So everybody's going to forget about the penalty.
Thank you, Terry. Thank you.
He did better.
The fans and
thank you.
And watches after.
I'm an up and coming player. I'm not a 50 million player like Jack or Kerry. I'm up and coming.
Hey,
shit, I'm a walk on, man.
If I wake up tomorrow morning and we have 75,000 views, I know why it happened. But Falcon fans, hit that like, share, subscribe button. This is what it's all about. Falcon fans talking Falcons football, and this is great because everybody's excited about the season. Alicia Shepard, you're telling the truth. I mean, they have these next up and coming weeks where I think the tampering news should come out soon. So maybe we hear something about that to talk about. Maybe some off-season transactions happen. I mean, I don't know what the Falcons are going to do. I mean, we saw the Harrison Hands move, right? That didn't really, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of surprised Falcon fans because behind the scenes, they're looking at their roster, they're looking at their team to see how they can get better in every avenue, right? So maybe something happens this week. Maybe it doesn't, but we have to get through this together. I mean, for fans here in the chat, you have Boston and Dallas, sorry ass, playing right now in the NBA Finals. So
who's winning?
It's 50-50 right now.
Oh, wow. Yeah. It's literally 50-50. That's
the USA-Brazil game is off too as well. But fans in the chat, quickly, we do have some upcoming events before I get to my final shout-outs. Hold on here. Oh, we got too many shout-outs here. Oh, snap. We got a bunch of shout-outs. Fans in the chat, you want to party with some Falcon fans? Atlanta Pro Falcons. I'm sorry. What the hell? Atlanta Pro Football Fanatics Cookout. This is a Falcon fan club thing that we have going on here called the Rise Up Tour Fan Club. And we will be out there June 22nd from 12 to 6 at NH Scott Park, Tilson Road, Indicator. Definitely want to head over to the link, the riseuptourfanclub.com/cookout. Terry, I forgot to tell you, man, a little bit of Tito's here tonight too as well.
Tito's.
So, didn't want to mention it to the end of the podcast, but
did you guys get sponsored by Tito's yet while I was gone those few weeks?
We did not, but hopefully.
I gotta make some phone calls.
Yeah,
if you can Carrie.
Have your people call Jack's people, Carrie.
Right?
Please.
I mean, we're big fans of Tito's over here. One time for the
Oh my
Please,
God! Yes.
please. But the Rise Up Tour fan club, we're going to be at the Atlanta Pro Football Fanatics Cookout, June 22nd from 12 to 6 p.m. You can put a $10 donation in if you if you like. We're going to have some food out there, some non-alcoholic beverages. Now, if you want to go ahead and bring your alcohol, that's on you. But we're going to be at the park having a good time. You definitely see a lot more fan clubs from the Cowboys probably out there, the Packers out there. Last year was pretty big. They had a couple thousand people out there. So you'll probably a thou wow. There you go. There you go, T Will. T Will, you're definitely, let me tell you something, man. Since you've been here one time for the fan, I must say, man,
it's up.
I'm about to go ahead and slide you some Gunna tracks in the minute. Like, listen to this Gunna.
Let me tell you something.
Tell me what you think about this Gunna song.
Hey, Jack, my son is so impressed with my new lingo. I just want you to know I'm not a cool kid yet, but I'm working my way there. I can almost have a conversation with him, and he can understand, which is a lot. So thank you.
You're a cool cat already.
No, you're definitely one of the cool kids.
I appreciate it. I do.
Big shout out to everybody here in the chat. Also, the train ride to New Orleans. T Will, deadline is June 16th for the train ride to New Orleans. We have 5 seats left on the train. You can head over to the Rise Up Tour fan club.com/train to jump on the train right now, man. I'm telling you, fans are excited about the train ride to New Orleans because we're going to head down there and we're going to beat down those New Orleans Aints. Also, we have a bus trip going to Carolina too as well. We can still have some seats available. The Rise Up Tour fan club day trip to Carolina, and yes, there is a tailgate too as well that we'll let you know about closer to the date. But a bus trip to Carolina, day trip coming up. Head over to the Rise Up Tour fan club.com/Carolina. You can see it right there at the bottom of your screen. And then, of course, we have the bus trip to Tampa coming up. Carrie, I'm sure you'll be there at the Falcons Bucks game in Tampa.
I'll see you there.
Got a chance to meet up with Carrie again last year too as well. And this is great when you go on the road to see fans because, we're traveling from Atlanta and other people are traveling from different places. But we're all, showing up at one spot to see the Falcons go beat down these teams, right? We're all diehard Atlanta Falcon fans. So, was that Tampa last year or was it – what other city was it where you were sitting by yourself in that section, Carrie? Was that was Tampa, right?
Tampa. That's the one that you saw me at.
Yeah, when I looked over to the left and you were sitting over there in the end zone.
Yeah. So for fans here in the chat, it's like, Carrie, what you doing over there? Because she's sitting over there. And Tampa Stadium is, it's outdoors. Usually it's like, 80-something degrees. And be careful sitting on the side where the sun hits you because you will feel that for 4 hours. So Falcon fans in the chat. Yeah, I'm thinking of sitting underneath the covering this time.
Yeah, I've noticed that area. I need to go ahead and try to get that spot next time. But then if I like sitting like closer to the bank, so I'm out of the covered area. Right. But yeah, that sun does hit you pretty hard in Tampa.
Just don't sit by the pirate ship, just to FYI, because that's
you're gonna hate that. You're gonna hate that. Definitely don't want to sit. What's that?
The cannons? Is that why?
Yeah, we do the team photo over there at halftime. But if you get underneath the cannons or even to the side of it, because sometimes they might do it on like a big first down too. It's like, what the hell just happened? Who's firing at you?
Why am I deaf? I don't understand it.
But fans, Tampa Bay fans love it, So fans here in the chat, hit that like, hit that share, hit that subscribe button. Glad to be talking Falcons football with everybody. Carrie, T Will, Bodie, big shout out to you all.
Shout out to Bodie.
And Chase. Congrats, Chase, on the show today, man. Great show.
They had Mike Johnson, former Atlanta Falcons offensive tackle, talking Falcons football. So definitely want to head over and check out DFU's podcast from earlier. Head over to check out A1, Berto, Smitty. They had Steve Weiss from NFL Network on too as well.
Another great show. So big shout out to everybody who's out here repping the Falcons. Let's continue doing this. Big shout out to my family. Carrie, your family too as well. T-Will, your family too as well. Yes,
and
sir.
everybody here watching One Time for the Fan. We'll be back Friday morning. Breakfast with One Time for the Fan, T. Will, at 9 a.m. And then I have golf at 10:30. I promise you.
Hey, Jack. So Tito's is vodka, right?
Yes.
Right.
And vodka has no odor, correct?
Yes.
So I can
Well,
have it in coffee. Got it.
sheesh. What?
Oh, man, we're creating a monster here.
I'm just kidding.
Dang.
I'm just kidding.
Sipping the Jack Daniels earlier? Is that what it was?
True. Dang.
That's great to know. That's great to know. Friday morning,
No,
we'll be back
it
at
has,
One Time
it has
for the
no
Fan.
odor. It has no odor. So I say that to say if you have to go to a social setting and you had to get the Tito's in, nobody's gonna know because they're not gonna smell it.
Hey, let me tell you something, man. When I'm playing golf too as well, and I'm gonna try not to drink at 9 a.m. in the morning, but when I get out there around 12, 1 o'clock, I think we're playing 18 holes on Friday.
Hey, man.
So of course, when you get around the back nine, as they say in golf, you got to stop for drinks and food, right? So that's gonna be an experience. So Falcon fans, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Great to talk Falcons football with you all. Friday morning, we're back 9 a.m. Terry, Carrie, rise up.
He gave us the double salute.